The next session, it is focusing on assistive technology and life skill education. So, as far as my knowledge is concerned, I think that assistive technology is about the means helping the disabled persons. Each and everyone as needs education, so disabled can't be keep out of this particular domain. So assistive technology is for them, and life skill is all about being positive, having a good behavior, having a positive behavior in front of others. To have this discussion, we have a eminent panel which includes Professor P.B. Sharma, President, Association of Indian Universities and Vice Chancellor and Amity University, Haryana. So I'd like to call on stage Professor Sharma to as a panelist in this session. Next is Lieutenant General S.P. Kochar, CEO, Telecom Sector Skill Council. I request each and every dignitary present here to welcome each of our panelists with a great round of applause. Next is Lieutenant General S.P. Kochar, CEO, Telecom Sector Skill Council. Professor H.N. Verma, President, Jaipur National University. Professor R.C. Kuhat, Vice Chancellor, Central Universities of Haryana. Professor B.B. Kaliwal, Vice Chancellor, Devanagari University. Dr. Shailendra Saraf, Vice President, Pharmacy Council of India, New Delhi. Prince Chaturvedi, Business Development and Operations, Indian Institute of Engineers, Sandeep Sharma. Prince Chaturvedi, Business Development and Operations. Please welcome him with big round of applause. Sandeep Sharma, Joint CEO, Scope. Sandeep Sharma, Joint CEO, Scope. Next is Supreet Nagaraju, Head Education, West, South India and Sri Lanka. Please welcome him with big round of applause. I request Professor P.V. Sharma to moderate the session. Sir, please moderate. Give me 2 mics. So from here or I'll
here only. I'll just quickly finish. Yeah.
That's good.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's a tough job to keep the audience alive, active, and alert, especially after the lunch session. But the job of the life skill is to make you all very happy, feel engaged, and certainly at the end of the session highly inspired to fix up the problems which we have at hand. People like me have been in education sector for the last 46 years. And therefore, we are well aware of the problem. Sometimes people get depressed and they talk too much about problem. But people like me will tell you that we haven't done all that bad. And had the higher education in India would have done all that bad, you would have not figured in the top of the pop in the very many high-ranked organizations, the world corporates, where you are heading them as CEO, as the chairman and whatnot. You would have not made such a great success for self-reliance in the defense sector, certainly made Mother India proud of its space sector. You would have not been able to really ensure that the gross domestic product of this country continues to be above 7% for many years. So feel happy that you have done extremely well under the circumstances in which the higher education in this country has really traded and transacted. जरा खुश हो जाओ इस बात के ऊपर और मन से ये निकाल दो कि हमने कुछ गलतियां की हैं. Shortcomings are always there in every country, and I have traveled around the world, and I know even America is rethinking about how to redesign its higher education. So must be the case with very many other developed countries of the world. Therefore, we are at the right time at this moment to think what can we do through the life skills, through bridging those vital gaps which we have created otherwise because of our too much of focus on knowledge, too much of focus on jnana, for which India, of course, stands much taller than anybody. In this country, we say, Nai jnanena sadrashyam pavitramai vidyati. There is nothing more pure and pious than knowledge. And that is why all the time, all universities, we are serving the dimension of knowledge to the best of their ability. Even there are gaps, and I could fully agree with the madam who may not be here now, who said that the eligibility and employability are two different things. Yes, they are. And therefore, it's very important for us to understand how life skill can come in a way to bridge that vital gap between eligibility and employability. We also need to create a happy society. Most of our Indians, when I meet my friends, even my students, all like this, professors very serious, hardly anybody is smiling. Go abroad and they will tell you good morning 100 times, good evening 200 times, asking you, how are you doing, sir? How are you? And they will smile at you. The idea is to make you all feel at home and feel happy. Why be miserable? Human life is not supposed to be spent in misery. It is supposed to be spent with tremendous amount of thrill, excitement, glowing layers of happiness in whatever you do. And if I am a teacher in the classroom, I must be very happy, and I must ensure that my students become engaged, inspired, as well as excited and interested in whatever I do. And once I start doing it, my life skills will come quite handy to ensure that all the students remain tuned to the teacher. They will ask searching questions. They will be understanding a better meaning of their engagement in the classroom. This is precisely the agenda. I want to see my panel addressing this need. We have been serving the needs of core skills to the best of our ability, but life skills of the kind which are required to create that vital difference between man and woman is something which is, I think, requiring great deal of attention today, and I want to thank Education Summit for addressing this agenda with utmost sincerity, despite the fact that we are now in the post-lunch session. This is one of the most exciting, most inspiring, most interesting panel, I would say, would be there to make you all go home with tremendous amount of positivity, feeling of committing yourself to do something better than what we have done till yesterday and create the India of our dream in our own lifetime without losing much time for our nation. With these opening remarks, may I take this opportunity. I have my young panel. Somebody said old fellows must not give their ideas because they have little bit of creativity. ऐसा नहीं है दोस्तों. अगर ऐसा होता तो मैं वाइस चांसलर क्यों होता इस उम्र में? ऐसा होता तो प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ एसोसिएशन यूनिवर्सिटीज को नई नई बातें कैसे बताता, कैसे आपको आकर के जागृत करता. दैट क्रिएटिविटी आल्सो इन्वॉल्व्स क्रिएटिंग हैप्पीनेस ऑन द फेसेस ऑफ इंडिविजुअल्स. Creativity is not the monopoly of the age. Research is not the monopoly of the hierarchy or age. Even my grandson is doing research, though he is in 2nd class here in international school, and another one who is in the 6th class in America. Both of them are doing research. They are writing project reports. They are connecting themselves to the society. Likewise, creativity, research, innovation, they acknowledge no age, my friends. Up to the last breath of life, you could be innovator, you could be a person filing patents. Look at the great patents of the world and how they are being driven by the people up to the last breath. The man who invented lithium-ion battery, he said, before I die, let me invent another one which will be 10 times or 100 times better than what it has been. This is the kind of spirit with which we all have to work. I invite one of my younger panel to share their views here. Let me first go to a name which is very charming, like Prince Chaturvedi, a born prince, to come here and give us the benefit of understanding. Prince Chaturvedi is from Business Development and Operations of Indian Institute of Engineers, something very important. I'm a fellow of Institute of Engineers. That's why I'm giving the first opportunity to Mr. Prince. Please come and share your views to the panel. Please come.
First of all, thank you very much to all of you. And sir, it's been delighted to, thank you. Sir, it's been delighted to be part of your discussion panel. I think this topic is very interesting and inquisitive in terms to explore one and individual views. And I think everyone who is sitting in front of me is part of this education industry and education department, although it includes schools or universities or some associations. So definitely we have a strong, like backbone in terms of education, how the things are changing into our present scenario. So the topic is assistive technology, how it basically improving the life skills of students, basically the blind students and disabled students, and all those people who belongs from underprivileged or rural areas. So how the technology going to make their life skills up to a certain optimum level so that they can enjoy and they can come into the mainstream. I think this is the main topic. So I just go back to 6 months old research where KPMG and Google conducted a research where they found the online education industry. I think this is what I was listening since morning, the kind of online startups, the kind of IT or like communication things which are involving in the education, which are making this education so much fancy and innovative. So they have projected to hit this industry up to 1.96 billion US dollar up to 221. So मेरे ख्याल से 64,000 करोड़ रुपए के आसपास का ये मतलब estimation है. This is basically more about. So how this is basically gonna hit? So as I was just discussing, some other like panelists come and he discussed about ERP and some other systems, some other CCTVs and some classroom concepts, some physics tutorials. So all these are comes under online education industry. Either it is intensive, extensive, either it includes webinar, or it includes VSAT technology, or it includes big data management, or it includes robotics management. So there are so many technologies are there which are available at present to us, and we are working on them. So like if blind students, if I talk about blind students, then we have talkative pens. I think these pens are very much, like helpful for them while like writing anything. So it will tell you whatever the things they are writing, whether it is right or wrong. So we have VSAT technology. So just actually I came to the main point because I think the session we have very much less time to discuss, and other my associates and my supporting friends are there who also need to address their views. So we have a VSAT technology in which we can directly beam whatever the things are delivering at one point to some other point, and it is a both extensive kind of classroom program. So if suppose sir is good in mathematics and my one of Kerala friend, he is interested in taking his session, so might not be he is feasible to come to the Delhi. So directly we can project his image or his views to directly to Kerala or UP or Bihar XYZ, and through mics and keyboards he can directly raise his queries. So these are the technological interfaces, like changes we are seeing. Second one is webinars, which are quite fancy nowadays. So a guy who is expert in, let's suppose in electrical engineering or management, some other fields, so he is interested in delivering the content to some other person, so he can directly communicate on webinars. So that is another way to transmit your technological interface to some other end. And some other things which I included in this. I think, sir, sir, I think that definitely you are more sincere and experienced than me, so definitely you have a better answer on this. But definitely, yes, sir, actually, sir, what I basically I like your practice. But sir, definitely. So it has been 27 years of my age, and 7 to 8 years after completion of my engineering, I went to Sony. I placed in Sony. So there I learned the technology. Then after I absorbed into education field, I implemented the technology into the education field. Primarily I was teaching somewhere in the GATE students. So what I realized, my education and my technological interface, they are quite helping me in my education system. So what I realized, हिंदी में समझाता हूँ आपको मैं, शिक्षा का जो सर बेसिकली शिक्षा का जो मतलब होता है, इट इज़ नॉट समथिंग बाय द मीन टू गेन मनी और ए रेस्पेक्ट. इट बेसिकली टीचर्स इज व्हाट इज द राइट वे, क्या सही संकल्प होगा, क्या सही पाथ होगा आपके अग्रसर होने में. अगर आपका पाथ और संकल्प सही है, डेफिनेटली यू विल गेट द enlightenment of the world, sir, whether it is lucrative life, lavish life, or anything else. So by considering this fact, just I'm moving ahead. So we are now working on the tier 1 cities, but tier 2 or tier 3 cities are still untouchable, where the business is going to be come, and this assistive technology is going to touch all those people. Either is it put up in Lucknow, Kanpur, or Ludhiana. These are tier 2 cities. We are only talking about tier 1 cities. Those are like Kerala, suppose Chennai is there, Kolkata, Mumbai, Gandhinagar, Ahmedabad and Delhi. So tier 2 and tier 3 cities where the population, the rural population and suburban population is there, which existing mainly, and we need to just focus on them. So this technology, by what we are discussing, this is going to hit those areas, and definitely they will gradually increase their life standard. Okay, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much indeed. I was really impressed by the technology coming as a support system to enhance our learning. But more than that, making us better human beings. That's something in the context of this particular system. So I now invite another one, another very interesting name I have with me, Sandeep Sharma, the joint CEO of Scope, SCOPE. Give us the full form of
Sure.
Scope if you can, because I have not spoken several times without
Yeah. Hello. Thank you, sir. I come from Gujarat. I look after higher education in Gujarat. There are various programs and various initiatives, various technological assistance, and a very beautiful program which sir just named that SCOPE, Society for Creation of Opportunity through Proficiency in English. Basically, without going into the long, I make it short. It is the enhancing the communication skills in Gujarat. So, which SCOPE has already trained more than 5.5 lakh candidates so far. So, coming on to the theme of this session, I have just designed my talk on basically two things: the technological learning, what kind of technology which we can use in our institute and colleges for our students, and what kind of funding. The schemes are already there, centers are already there. But where is the awareness? Where is the implementation? There are, India sees by 2022, 119 million skilled manpower in 24 sectors. How we are going to cater that? There's a student through students or non-students? Students through ITIs, schools, colleges, and non-students through training centers. So idea is, can we have some specialized and domain-specific universities which are already working in some of the states? I named some of the university, Yoga University. Like sir, you mentioned about how can have happiness. This can we have Yoga University, life changing our lifestyle, art of living, petroleum and alternate fuel university, children's university. Can I have this? Why only adults go to a university? Why not consider a children university? The sports university. Why not defense university? Pradhan Mantri also mentioned about Rail University. Have you heard about Rail University? And what not, a university for innovation and traditional knowledge. Innovation for happiness, innovation for technology, innovation for learning. Why not have a postal university? A postal department is not to just distribute post and stamps. It can be used in very much innovative ways. Now, you might have heard about a lot of 21st century skills and this thing. IT skills, communication skill, life coping skills. Driving a car is also a life skill. Swimming also a life skill. You already this analytical skills. The new skill which I will put forward before you is the anticipatory thinkers, anticipatory thinking skill. So suppose there is a continuous monsoon in some region. So can we anticipate what kind of disaster management systems we can anticipate? How cash crops are changing? So there are some anticipatory thinking skill, which is a new skill which is actually coming. And again, there's some checkpoint. I was just like to add in school and college thing, 10-point checklist. Can we invite parents to teach once a month? A class contains around 30 to 40 students. So a parent would come only once in a month. And a parent can be a photographer. He can be an aviation engineer. He can be some other engineer. So at the school or college level, the school or student can take that initiative, call that thing, and in a very layman language, this kind of interest. Just we have to generate interest in the various courses and various skills. How we can actually do that. Another program, the problem is the availability and paucity of trainers. So there is the continuous trainer development programs existing, not only trainee level, trainer level. Can we have internship and apprenticeship at school level, not at college level? We see that internship is only at 6 semester, 8 semester of engineering college. Not only, I have not seen arts, commerce or science students going for some internship in the last year. Why not at school level? Co-curricular, extracurricular, co-curricular activities we all know. we don't have assessment systems. We don't have credible and logical assessment systems. We have examination system, not the assessment systems. I will tell you some of the things which you can learn free of cost. I will not go through much of your time. You might have heard about NME ICT, National Mission on Education using ICT. The e-learning content, the technology, actually I feel that technology is in various sectors, but very less in education. Except in, when I say less, I am talking about the majority. I am just not talking about tip of the pyramid. Anyway, ICT, Sakshat, from MHRD, they are allowing internet connections in universities free of cost, means 75 and 25 ratio. They are allowing e-content development. Have you heard about NPTEL? You might have heard about Harvard, the OCW, MIT OCW, but you would be surprised to know NPTEL is the largest repository where more than 1,000 live courses and more than 500 videos are hosted by MHRD, hosted by 7 IITs and 1 ISC. Very useful for engineering students. What about IIT Bombay? Spoken tutorials. A B city or C city student can get IIT Bombay certificate without getting into admission. How? There's already a lot of open source softwares available. Everything is free of cost. Training is available. CDs are available. Exam on Doodle is available. You get IIT Bombay certificate. How you can increase your placement quotient by going through this thing? There's a
questions and then you can say more.
Right. So there's a lot to say. There's a OBT, CBT, and what about the funding? You might have heard about RUSA. You might have heard about PMKVY. You might have heard about PMMY. Funding is the Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana, which allows 50,000 to 10 lakh rupees of grant to budding entrepreneurs, non-agricultural trade sectors. Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Yojana, Pradhan Mantri Gramin Kaushalya Vikas Yojana, Deen Dayal Krishi Kaushalya Vikas Yojana, Gramin Kaushalya Yojana, UGC, RUSA. So there are various funding also available with the higher education, with school system, higher education system, skill development agencies. So the only thing is the preparing the mindset, how to actually making our students, our target audience aware about such schemes, and then the right implementation and monitoring. Thank you, sir.
Audience, you have seen two panel speakers on my left and right. It appears that we are behaving like as if we are in a classroom where the teacher is very much eager to say everything which he has noted last night or in the previous night, and we want to share this with the student. The purpose of panel discussions is to excite your imagination and then get the right answer out of the 100 technologies, which is the one which will make you happy. For example, when I bought first time I bought my palm top, there was a technology where a little cat was there. You touch that cat, and the cat will say, don't do this. It makes me smile. Whenever I used to go bored on whatever mathematics or engineering I was doing, I just touch the cat and the cat will make me smile. Then of course a lot of other technology came. Some or other these are drying up. They have run away. You have to bring them back. In a classroom, if the teacher can run a 2-minute video before starting a long lecture, I tell you it will get the people interested. That 2-minute video must be such that it will keep people inspired and excited for the next 45 minutes. Not more than 2 minutes. And there's nothing wrong in wasting 2 minutes in getting people interested in what you want to say. Those kind of technologies we need to bring to the classroom, then the rethinking, learning in the new century would really happen. But thank you so much, Mr. Sharma from Scope SCO, People Farmers Society for Creation of Opportunity through Proficiency in English. That's the Scope complex you mean for that? No, my mind went to Scope complex here in Delhi. You are from now, there's a difference. What you call a scope is not a scope in Gujarat. Now I invite my third and the last speaker, Mr. Suresh Nagaraj sir. Suprit Nagaraj sir, who is the head of education from Edinburgh. Everybody knows Edinburgh. Now tell us how can you create smiles, how can you create mindset, how can you create that empathy and
Sure, I will. So, thank you, one and all. Good afternoon. First and foremost thing, this is a very tough and I would say quite challenging topic to bring in technology aspect of it. It's easier more from a straight delivery of content, right? So let me quickly speak about one of my experiences, a couple of my experiences. As part of my job assignment at Adobe, I manage the education vertical, interacting with leaders like you, both from the K-12 higher education and the policymakers standpoint, the ministry's aspect of it, both within India and outside India. Few things that I keep observing and few things that I keep receiving as feedback during my engagement with professors, students, is that why do you want to do formal education? First questions. I mean, I've been asking this myself for quite some time. Of course, I've become a part of the system, graduated out of some of the top engineering and B schools in India. And when I ask them and myself, some of the questions that are being answered come with trivial answers. It's either societal factors that mold the definition of happiness for them, or in some cases, it is more so because of the passion that they may have, developed right from their childhood, or they would have picked up over a period of time. The latter is a very smaller percentage. And some of the things, from the first point that I discussed, in terms of the societal factors that have been driving the decisions in terms of what they want to do and the definition of happiness, comes the generic pointers like, I want to have a good quality of life, and the quality of life is, I need to have not just the food, clothing, and shelter. I need beyond that, things like, I want to have a great brand to be associated with. I want to work for Microsoft, I want to work for Adobe, I probably want to work for, I want to become an IAS officer, working for government of India, government of, a particular state, and so on and so forth. And then comes the gradual progressions in life with respect to the marital aspect of it, the marriage market aspect of it, and stuff like that. And comes the question of further ranking within the societal aspects in terms of where do I stand vis-a-vis my peer, and so on and so forth. And the most important underlining factor, in all of this is that less of passion and more of fear of failure that is actually driving the factor. And that is where the innovation aspect of it, the happiness factor of it, starts dwindling down, right? And then we start looking up to, hey, Steve Jobs created Apple, we have Google being created, but then the people who run the shows, the people who actually file patents over there are, again, the bunch of people who started off from the grassroots of India to a larger population of them and then migrating over there. So coming to the main aspect of it in terms of how do we drive away from the fear of failure and move towards making people do what they like to do and create more innovation is what I'm going to cover a few of the points, and then how technology can actually help aid. I may be closer to some of the expectations of few of the people here, and some may be contradictory to the pointers that you may have, so bear with me for a few minutes. So the first things that I have been observing and learning myself day in and day out is a technique called as the visualization technology, right? All of us visualize certain things. Even my child who's 5 years old actually visualizes a lot, and they learn more by visualization today. Visualization is one naturally coming from an imagination standpoint. Today we have a lot of technologies available which help you correlate to what you're discussing or what you have as thought to what is reality, right? So Adobe also has a play in it, and I'm going to talk more about it. Second of it is today, one of the speakers few hours ago spoke about gaming as a concept. A lot of people spoke about gaming as a concept. And one of the top trends in today's context of education, in today's context of learning, has been gamification. Very important and a very hot topic, but little is it addressed from a sense of joy, a sense of pride standpoint. It is always with a specific purpose of saying that, you need to enhance the knowledge on this particular topic and derive a particular output from an examination or an evaluation perspective. So why don't we make it a little more enjoying in terms of having gaming itself as an assessment area? That's another area that I would like to suggest and maybe want to hear more from you. we've
play games to develop your life skills. But these games must be suitably designed, otherwise you become addicted to these games.
so gaming. Yes. So gaming need not necessarily be only the IT oriented. I'm sure all of us have come from a country where we have extremely good amount of pride in some of the old games that we have had. Street games, we've got certain mathematical games that have been developed, and I'm sure we have various things that can be developed over a period of time in terms of what can we do from the so-called motoring skills. There are a lot of smaller aspects of it which are now taught in preschools, which can be applied to the middle schools and higher education aspect of it as well. And gaming today is not just restricted to the traditional Angry Birds or the most popular video games aspect of it. I remember a game which is a very old one. I think when the MS-DOS was the era that time, I think there used to be a baby, Bouncing Baby was one of those games which was probably being popular during those days. And then we had this mathematical algebra games which were being made by Indian scientists, and then they were popular as well. I think this can be. Yeah, the third one aspect of it is access to content and learning. Any device, anywhere, any place kind of a model should be encouraged. The last two aspects of it will be on how do you showcase talent? How do you showcase, what are the job prospects? Is a very, very important aspect. Today we teach, students in terms of certain skills, but we do not teach them how do you showcase their talent to the outside world? How do you do their projects and apply to the real world, and also ensure that it is equally branded and marketed. That's a very important aspect today in today's scenario. The last aspect of it is localization of learning and teaching. Very, very important aspect. While we all take pride in working for some of the biggest brands, biggest organizations, biggest government agencies, it's important to go to the grassroots level problems where you stand. It could be just 500 meters of radius around you, and how you can improve and make an impact over there. That gives you a lot of sense of joy and pride about it. There's a few points that I had.
Very good. Thank you so much, Mr. Nagaran. Nagaran, sir. Sir is trying to say think globally, act locally, but he also saying think locally and act globally. Both ways. It's not only we think always global, act local, there's nothing to happen. But you have to think about local also. So think locally, act locally, think globally, and act globally. Very good. I think you have now understood our mind very well. I am here to make you happy. I am here to ensure that you go home with a sense of fulfillment. I am here to ensure that you become courageous, competent, committed, and at the same time highly inspired to do your service to the education sector up to the last breath of your life. Even when you are at the last breath of your life, give some sermons like which Pitama has given to the Pandavas as well as to the Kauravas at that time. The purpose of education, my friend, is not just so simple as we have been taught of. Education is supposed to give you not just empowerment of knowledge and capabilities, but also behavior, conduct, character, and attitude. Unfortunately, the second part, behavior, conduct, character, and attitude, falls under the domain of life skills. And therefore, this is a very serious and an important connect which we have to make now if we have to rethink education as an empowerment to create India of our dream. The biggest disconnect that has happened is on the behavior, on the attitude, on the character, and in fact on the inclination, what I call आत्मीयता, empathy. अगर हम सारे आत्मीयता से एक दूसरे की सेवा करें, तो देश में परेशानी किधर होगा मुझे बताइए. Whether the work is small or large, it doesn't matter. When you conduct that work with empathy, with आत्मीयता, excellence emerges out of it. With this now, summing up, I want to pick up one or two questions quickly. I have to run away because my wife has phoned me 10 times. When you come out, you are supposed to come out at 3:30. So, first few questions, and then we'll wind up. Yeah. Sir. These questions are to
Good afternoon, sir.
Please.
Sir, we have seen that from last few years, many e-learning courses are coming up. And in that
the meantime, you start your university. Let them chase you to say that it is not authorized. You would then say that I have already got 2,25,000 fellows who have registered and they are learning mathematics from me, they are learning science from me, they are learning engineering from me, they are learning soft skills from me, they are learning life skills from me, and then you can tell the government that look, it is so valuable for my country, how the hell you can stop me? So you can start right now.
So at present there are no such norms.
Sorry?
At present there are no such norms.
Yes, that's true. Digital university, no norms. They are still struggling with the norm for the distance education, and in fact, even the charter to virtual university would be the next.
Okay, thank you.
But why you worry about taking for our Gurukuls never asked for permission from MK to
So I have a slightly different viewpoint. I mean, university system is required, yes, no doubt. From a learning standpoint, today online education, I don't think we need any regulation for it. Today we have millions and millions of children, millions and millions of executives, or people who are working in the industry who are already online, who are trying to learn various sets of new technologies. I mean, talking about it from a corporate standpoint, I think we should go ahead and just start teaching kids, irrespective of what is the regulation in place. I'm sure the regulation will follow.
So the amount of data which is available on the net, it is so vast that you cannot understand it, which you should go and which you should select.
I give you better clear. Why you want to be a university? Be an academy. Once you are an academy and people are learning from you, you will be catching like fire, also making money at the same time, doing national service. At a later stage, you can say, my academy has now graduated to be a university. I'll take this.
I agree with you. I agree with you, sir.
हमारे साथ मुसीबत क्या है?
I just wanted to ask you being a vice chancellor, is there is such regulations or there or not? Because many of them are projecting themselves as digital university, active digital university.
In the AIU, I'm going to set up an academy, believe it or not, because I think a lot of learning is required, even from Association of Indian Universities. They are going to set up an academy of the vice chancellors. Where a lot of knowledge will be shared, knowledge will be created, and think tanks will be created. All that work. So you start with an academy of digital learning, and I tell you, will catch like fire and mint money at the same time.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
8 years ago, from an Adobe standpoint, we wanted to start something similar, and then peers of mine wanted to approach the government. We never got an art for doing any scaling programs online for Adobe. So we just said, okay, we'll roll out one of the global initiatives called Education Exchange, like a MOOC concept. We have tons of videos, learning materials available. I'm sure all of you can access it. It's called edx.adobe.com. It's there for the last 8 years in India and worldwide. It's got about 10 lakh faculties and education professionals accessing it. Students are accessing it. And then similarly, we have created one more online portal called Behind School, where students can go and showcase their talent outside world. It's like a link and equality in the creative space. So I don't think there's any boundaries to this.
Anybody else who desires to make a big sense in digital learning? You can pick up a question, then you will answer. Please.
Sir, I just wanted to know, in the context of digital learning, do we need to have specified durations for any degree or postgraduate degree? Or can we just leave that open? Somebody can complete a program in 3 months, somebody does it in a year.
मेरा बस चले तो मैं आपसे कहूँ, there should be no time frame associated with learning. I have, for example, friends who have graduated at the age of 13, and that too with the first rank in the university in engineering. 13 साल की उम्र में engineering का top class graduate. आपके देश में तो आप एडमिशन भी नहीं दोगे 17 साल से पहले, बोलोगे he not eligible even for admission. So we have to break this mold. We have to break this mold conventional learning systems and start in this country a conviction with which now digital learning should pave the way for learning of everyone. I learn every day from my grandchildren, and I have no shame because they can teach me something, I can also teach them something. We have to learn from each other. Digital learning provides you that shared learning environment. You have to really think afresh, no time frame, no hierarchy. I'll give you a certificate even in 1 year if you can pass all my exams with a certificate. You may not call it degree. The minute you call it degree, immediately you will no more your head. You say, I'm giving them a certificate.
Sir, AIU भी आएगी. AIU भी आएगी sir हमारे से.
AIU will take all my hair away and let me give these information. But I am also going to educate AIU to the extent possible within my 1 year of presidency of Association of Indian University. After all, I was studying in England. Believe it or not, at that time, the degree of engineering was 1 year. I was sent by Government of India as a Government of India national scholar. I passed the degree in 1 year, topped in the university. Then they said, okay, sir, we'll pay you, but do you have your master, your doctorate degree from our money? I said, okay, I'll do my doctorate. And I came there, became professor in IIT Delhi. Nobody asked me that 1 year degree recognized or not. But when I went for UPSC interview for Delhi College of Engineering principals, the fellow said, where is the certificate that your degree of Birmingham University is equivalent to master degree here? I said, you dare ask this question? You must be a fool. They said, what do you mean? I said, IIT Delhi has been created on the strength of UK, directors are sitting here, and the learned professor of Birmingham University under whom I have done my PhD, he was the founder, member of that UK committee which set up IIT Delhi, and you are asking me, what where is that recognition of the degree? They said, sir, we need it later. Luckily that certificate was given by Minister of HRD. I told them, you sent me, you can't befool me. If it was not recognized, how the hell you sent me to do my master's degree? Luckily, they said, okay, recognize. I became the principal of Delhi College of Engineering, otherwise they would have not interviewed me at that time. I was quite young, I had a fighting spirit at that time. At the age of 41, I became principal of Delhi College of Engineering, knocking off 26 candidates, many of them were 55 plus. They were telling, I want to become principal of Delhi College, I want to come to Delhi. I said, I want to become principal of Delhi College to make it better than IIT, because it is the mother of IIT. See, there is a big difference. You have to now find a course by which you are able to defeat those conventional systems which for a very long time have crippled us. Graduate of Oxford University comes with 1 year degree, and India tells us you are not recognized equal to master degree. On the other hand, we are crying every day that we are not among the top 200 or top 100 best universities of the world, and we are negating the master degree from even the number 1 in the world. We have to change all this. And if we don't change, I tell you, Mother India will continue to cry on higher education as it is crying right now. I think the very purpose of this conference is to understand how can we make Mother India smile and change our ways and our mindset about the way we impart higher education. It's not a question of years you spend, it's a question of what you have learned, how many credits you have passed, how much contact hour you have spent, what project you have done, what publications you have made, what contributions you have made to the body of knowledge, and that's the foundation.
I think this is a very nice initiative which you asked, a very nice initiative of MHRD. You might have heard of SWAYAM portal, swayam.gov.in from 9th standard to graduation till post-graduation. So there are the training is imparted free. You can just have a lot of video lectures there. But if you want to get certificate, you have to pay some fees. The same case is here with the Stanford course, the course at MIT, OCW, where you can just go. There is a courses for slow-paced learners, fast-paced learners. So you can learn at your pace, and you can just whenever you want to take exam, you can just pay the fees and you get the certificate. I will give you last this example. 2 weeks back, the Gujarat Technological University imparted degree to a 15-year-old guy. The children were taking special permission from AICT. So there are already examples. So we have actually there are certain norms which we have to actually follow.
Why do you need permission of AICT for the age of
But there are other, now the time has come where you can enroll in various online learning courses at your pace and you can get
years, we may be supporting the real backbone in terms of technology modification. But the point I'm trying to drive here is there is a lot of population in each of the states which needs lowest common denominator education by going to the grassroots and teaching in your own respective languages, creating your own respective content. Very, very important. I think I would encourage each one of you to elaborate and figure out how you can create your own MOOCs and get it, customize your landscapes.
My advice to those who are coming from the education sector here, higher education sector, go back and revisit your curriculum and try to embed and integrate a life skill component in the curriculum to the best of your ability. At American University, Gurgaon, we have done this 3 years ago and we find that it is very, very useful. 12 credits of life skill courses, starting from critical thinking to changing the mindset to positivity, all that is part and parcel of the curriculum and this is very, very important. You all can do it, but you have to now accept that life skill is important for the behavioral aspect, for the conduct, for the character, and for the vital privilege to serve the community. Give more than what you pledge to the community, that can only come from the life skill. And I'm really happy. I must thank you on behalf of the entire panel, our friends from the organizer for giving us this opportunity to be with you this afternoon. I wish you great ending of this conference toward the end of the day and wish you great time hereafter. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sharma sir. I think this is the most lively section we have so far in a higher education segment, and that only due to Professor Sharma, that he has deliberated some of very nice thing about higher education sector, but in a very lighter note that we must incorporate. Thank you so much, Sharma sir, for such a lively section. So now I would I like to call on stage Dr. A. Ashok, Secretary and Commissioner, Board of Intermediate Education, Government of Telangana, to present each and every one of our panelists with the speaker mementos. So please give him a big round of applause. Mr. Next is Sandeep Sharma, Joint CEO, Scope. Professor P.B. Sharma, our moderator. Prince Chaturvedi, Business Development and Operations, Indian Institute of Engineers. I request each and every panelist to pose for a group photo with their mementos. So this panel definitely needs a great round of applause for such a lively section here. I request each and every one for. So next panel discussion we are going to have here. Sorry, there is another thing which I would like to ask from Mr. Professor P.B. Sharma. Sharma sir, please be here for a while. We have a higher education award. We have a higher education leadership award for Amity University, Gurgaon. The university which is having such a lively vice chancellor, so the campus must be very lively and having the students have a very good life skill sets here. So sir, please be on stage. I like to call on stage Anju Sharma, Principal Secretary, Higher and Technical Education Department, Government of Gujarat, to felicitate the award to the university. Thank you so much, sir.